I've spent 28 years as a cardiac emergency specialist, and what I've witnessed has changed how I look at every patient over 65. The most devastating heart attacks I've seen weren't random or sudden. They were preceded by warning signs that went unnoticed or ignored for days, weeks, sometimes even months before the fatal event. Most seniors never recognize these subtle signals until it's too late. By the time chest pain or shortness of breath become obvious, the damage is often irreversible. What breaks my heart is knowing that thousands of these deaths could be prevented if people knew what their bodies were desperately trying to tell them. In this video, I'm going to reveal 7 silent signals that your body sends before a major cardiac event, warning signs that 93% of seniors miss completely. These aren't obvious symptoms like chest pain or arm numbness that everyone knows about. These are the subtle, often dismissed changes that occur days or weeks before a fatal heart attack strikes. Pay close attention until the end, because the 4th signal is something almost every senior experiences but rarely connects to heart health. Yet recognizing it could give you the critical time needed to prevent irreversible damage or death. This information isn't just important. For many of you watching, it could be the difference between life and death in the coming months. Silent signal. Number 1, unusual fatigue. That rest doesn't fix. The first warning sign your heart sends when it's in danger isn't pain. It's a profound, unusual fatigue that doesn't improve with rest. This isn't the normal tiredness that comes with age or a busy day. This is a bone-deep exhaustion that makes even simple tasks feel overwhelming. Consider Harold, a 72-year-old retired accountant who always took a daily 2-mile walk. Gradually, he found himself needing to rest halfway through. Then he started skipping walks altogether, telling his wife he just needed a day off. Within weeks, he was spending most afternoons napping, something he'd never done before. His family attributed it to getting older, but what they didn't realize was that his heart was already struggling to pump efficiently, causing system-wide fatigue as his organs received less oxygen. 3 weeks after these fatigue symptoms began, Harold suffered a massive heart attack while watching television. During his recovery, his cardiologist confirmed that this unexplained fatigue was his heart's first desperate warning signal. What makes this signal so dangerous is how easy it is to misinterpret. Most seniors and their families assume unusual tiredness is just part of aging, stress, or poor sleep. They rarely connect it to heart function. Yet in a study of heart attack survivors over 65, a shocking 71% reported experiencing unusual fatigue in the weeks before their cardiac event. This isn't about feeling sleepy after lunch or tired after exertion. The fatigue I'm describing makes you feel exhausted even after a full night's sleep. It improves little with rest and tends to worsen over days or weeks. If you notice this kind of profound energy change, especially if it's accompanied by other subtle symptoms, don't wait. Contact your doctor immediately and specifically mention concern about your heart. Silent signal number 2, the sleep position that reveals heart failure. The second silent signal is how you position yourself while sleeping. This subtle change can reveal dangerous heart problems months before a cardiac event, yet almost no one recognizes its significance. When your heart begins to struggle, fluid can build up in your lungs when you lie flat. Your body instinctively tries to make breathing easier by changing your sleeping position. People with developing heart problems often find themselves adding extra pillows or sleeping in a recliner without realizing why they suddenly can't breathe comfortably when lying flat. Martha, a 68-year-old grandmother, gradually went from sleeping with 1 pillow to 3 over the course of 2 months. When her daughter asked about the pillow mountain, Martha simply said she found it more comfortable that way. She didn't connect this change to the mild swelling in her ankles or her increased nighttime bathroom trips. 6 weeks later, Martha was rushed to the hospital with heart failure that had been developing silently for months. What makes this signal particularly valuable is how early it appears. The need for elevation while sleeping often begins 2 to 3 months before more obvious heart failure symptoms develop. Yet because it happens gradually and during sleep, most people adapt without questioning why their comfortable sleeping position of decades suddenly doesn't work anymore. Pay attention if you've added pillows or find yourself preferring to sleep in a recliner. Ask yourself, has my comfortable sleeping position changed in recent months? Do I feel short of breath when I lie flat? These questions could reveal critical information about your heart's condition long before more dangerous symptoms appear. Silent signal number 3, the indigestion deception. The third warning sign is perhaps the most commonly misinterpreted of all. What feels like indigestion or heartburn may actually be your heart's desperate cry for help. Many heart attacks, especially in people over 65, don't begin with chest pain. Instead, they present as what seems like persistent indigestion, heartburn, or stomach discomfort that doesn't respond normally to antacids. This indigestion deception leads many seniors to treat themselves with over-the-counter remedies while their heart condition worsens dangerously. Robert, a 74-year-old retired teacher, experienced what he thought was heartburn after meals for nearly 3 weeks. He took antacids regularly, which provided only minimal relief. He mentioned it to his wife but didn't think it warranted a doctor visit. What Robert didn't know was that this wasn't digestive distress. It was angina, pain caused by reduced blood flow to his heart. Sadly, Robert suffered a fatal heart attack while working in his garden before ever seeking medical attention. What makes this signal so dangerous is its similarity to common digestive issues. The key differences to watch for: cardiac indigestion often appears with minimal connection to what you've eaten, may radiate to your jaw or back, frequently comes with activity or stress, and doesn't fully resolve with antacids. Even more concerning, women over 65 are particularly likely to experience this deceptive symptom instead of classic chest pain. If you're experiencing unusual or persistent indigestion, especially if it's new, different from your typical digestive issues, or accompanied by unexplained fatigue, take it seriously and contact your doctor immediately. Silent signal number 4, the breathing change that predicts heart attacks. The fourth signal, and the one most people completely miss, is a subtle change in your breathing pattern that often begins 2 to 3 weeks before a major cardiac event. When your heart begins to struggle, it affects how efficiently oxygen moves throughout your body. Before you feel obvious shortness of breath, your body tries to compensate with a nearly imperceptible change. You begin sighing more frequently, taking occasional deeper breaths without realizing it. This unconscious mechanism is your body's attempt to get more oxygen when your heart isn't circulating blood effectively. Elizabeth, a 77-year-old retired librarian, was watching television with her daughter when her daughter noticed something unusual. Every few minutes, Elizabeth would take a deeper breath, almost like a subtle sigh. When asked about it, Elizabeth hadn't even noticed she was doing it. 2 weeks later, she suffered a severe heart attack. During her recovery, her cardiologist explained that this breathing pattern was her body's response to early heart insufficiency. What makes this signal particularly valuable is how early it appears, often weeks before more recognized symptoms. Yet because it happens gradually and doesn't cause discomfort, most people, and even many doctors, overlook its significance completely. Ask a family member to observe your breathing pattern when you're at rest. Frequent sighing or the need to occasionally take deeper breaths could be your body's way of compensating for reduced cardiac output. This simple observation could literally save your life by revealing heart problems weeks before more dangerous symptoms develop. Silent signal number 5, the morning hours heart attack warning. The fifth signal involves when you experience certain symptoms, not just what you feel. Your body's internal clock, or circadian rhythm, interacts with heart function in ways that create a dangerous window of vulnerability that few seniors know about. Heart attacks don't strike randomly throughout the day. There's a specific 3-hour window when your risk increases dramatically, between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. During these morning hours, your blood becomes stickier, your blood pressure surges, and your stress hormones peak. For a healthy heart, these changes aren't problematic, but for a heart that's already compromised, this morning surge can trigger a fatal event. Even more revealing, your body often sends warning signals during this same morning window days or weeks before a major heart attack. Symptoms that appear specifically during these hours: mild chest discomfort, unusual fatigue, shortness of breath or dizziness, are significantly more likely to indicate cardiac problems than the same symptoms experienced at other times of day. James, a 70-year-old retired police officer, experienced mild pressure in his chest every morning while getting dressed. By mid-morning, the sensation always disappeared completely, so he dismissed it as muscle tension or stress. Because the discomfort was mild and always resolved, he never mentioned it to his doctor. 3 weeks later, James suffered a massive heart attack during his morning shower, in the exact time window when he had been experiencing those minor symptoms. If you notice any unusual sensations that occur specifically during the morning hours, even if they're mild and completely resolved later in the day, take them seriously. These time-specific warnings could be your body's final alert before a major cardiac event. Silent signal number 6, the jaw pain connection. The sixth signal is perhaps the strangest and most often missed. Unexplained pain or discomfort in your jaw that comes and goes without any dental cause. When your heart is under stress, it sometimes sends pain signals to other areas of your body through shared nerve pathways. One of the most common but least recognized is jaw pain, particularly along the lower jaw or on the left side. This symptom is especially common in women over 65, who are more likely than men to experience heart attacks without chest pain. Margaret, a 68-year-old grandmother, visited her dentist twice for recurring jaw pain. Finding no dental problems, the dentist suggested it might be stress-related TMJ and recommended a mouthguard. The pain would come and go, sometimes disappearing for days. What neither Margaret nor her dentist realized was that this intermittent jaw discomfort was actually referred pain from her heart. 5 days after her last dental appointment, Margaret suffered a severe heart attack while visiting her grandchildren. What makes this signal particularly deceptive is that it often occurs without any chest discomfort at all, leading people to look for explanations related to dental problems, sinus issues, or stress. Even more confusing, the pain frequently comes and goes, sometimes disappearing completely for days or weeks before returning. If you're experiencing unexplained jaw pain, particularly if it's on the left side, or if it comes and goes without clear cause, don't just assume it's dental in nature. Mention it to your doctor and specifically ask if it could be related to your heart, especially if you have any cardiac risk factors. Silent signal number 7, the swollen ankles most doctors miss. The seventh and final silent signal involves changes in your lower extremities that seem unrelated to heart function but can actually reveal critical information about your cardiac health. When your heart begins to weaken, it struggles to pump blood effectively, causing fluid to build up in your body. Before you experience obvious symptoms like severe shortness of breath, this fluid often pools in your ankles and feet, causing subtle swelling that many seniors attribute to aging, sitting too long, or hot weather. What makes this signal particularly valuable is how early it appears, often 1 to 2 months before more serious heart failure symptoms develop. Yet because it's painless and develops gradually, most people either don't notice it or don't consider it important enough to mention to their doctor. Helen, a 71-year-old retired teacher, noticed her shoes feeling tighter in the afternoons. She simply switched to more comfortable footwear and thought nothing more of it. She didn't connect this change to her increasing fatigue or occasional nighttime cough. 6 weeks later, Helen was hospitalized with congestive heart failure that had been developing silently for months. The swelling I'm describing has specific characteristics that differentiate it from other causes. It's typically worse in the evening, improves somewhat overnight, affects both ankles equally, and creates indentations when pressed that take several seconds to disappear. It may also be accompanied by unexplained weight gain as your body retains fluid. If you notice your shoes feeling tighter, sock marks appearing deeper than usual, or general puffiness in your ankles and feet, don't dismiss it. This could be one of the earliest visible signs that your heart is in trouble, giving you precious time to seek treatment before more dangerous symptoms develop. Final thoughts. These 7 silent signals, unusual fatigue, changes in sleeping position, deceptive indigestion, altered breathing patterns, morning-specific symptoms, unexplained jaw pain, and subtle ankle swelling, aren't just random symptoms. They're your body's desperate attempts to warn you that your heart is in danger before a life-threatening event occurs. What makes these signals so valuable is that they often appear weeks or even months before a major cardiac event, giving you a critical window of opportunity to intervene. Yet because they're subtle and often seem unrelated to heart function, most people miss them completely until it's too late. I've shared these warning signs not to frighten you, but to empower you with knowledge that could literally save your life. Heart attacks in people over 65 are rarely truly sudden. They're the culmination of problems that have been developing and signaling for weeks or months. If you recognize any of these warning signs in yourself or someone you love, don't wait for more obvious symptoms to develop. Contact your doctor immediately and specifically mention your concerns about cardiac health. A simple evaluation could detect problems while they're still treatable, potentially saving you from becoming one of the thousands of seniors who die each year from heart attacks that showed warning signs that went unrecognized. Thank you for staying with me through this critical information. If you found this video valuable, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone over 65 who needs this knowledge. Your support helps us continue creating content that could save lives, and your sharing could be the reason someone recognizes these silent signals before it's too late.